Hello, moon babies. It's Molly. Thank you so much for being here with me and joining me on the channel. I'm really excited to be back and talking to you today. So what I wanted to talk about today is conducting magical studies. So conducting our own research and building our own learning structure. So this is a question I get asked frequently, almost every day. So I thought it might be helpful to make a video addressing the subject. And sort of the tips and tricks and ideas that we're going to talk about today could be applicable to someone who's just starting out, but it could also be applicable to people who've been practicing for a long time and they're feeling stuck or uninspired with where they're at. So let's get into some ideas about how we can craft and conduct our own great magical studies. So the first question we can ask ourselves in conducting magical studies is, how do we learn? What is your learning style? So there's a bunch of different styles. You could be a visual learner, an oral learner, physical, verbal, solitary, or social. And having an idea of what your learning style or styles are can help you make choices about the sort of materials and or mentors that you would like to interact with in the course of your study. And if you're unsure about what your personal learning style or styles are, there are lots of quizzes you can take and plenty of online resources available to help you clarify that. The next question that we can ask ourselves is, what is our goal with this study? So breaking down your study into a specific area can really help you get focused, because when we get overwhelmed, we're not going to be motivated to do self-directed work, right? So formulating a question or choosing a specific area of study is going to help you make some progress. So what might that look like? It could be, what is alchemy? Or a theme like, what is symbolism in alchemical art? Or what is shadow work? Or the history of goddess worship in Europe? Or understanding the relationship of the Kabbalah and the tarot? Trees of North America, right? So our possibilities are really endless. Witchcraft is a broad, sprawling, and ever-expanding territory. So going into a study with the goal of learning witchcraft might not be the most helpful route. So to get started, it might be useful to you to just create a list of all of the things that you are interested in learning about. And from there, choose one for now. Choose one goal, one particular area of study, something that you would like to master or gain a deeper understanding of. And I recommend choosing something that really excites you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to break that down just a little later. The next area of consideration is, what sort of resources would we like to use? So for me in particular, I love using books. I love going to the library, and I really love tucking into a book and digesting it, reading a lot of books on the same subject and comparing and contrasting. But we have so many resources available to us outside of books. We can look at podcasts, articles, videos, live lectures, taped lectures, going to museums, art exhibitions, workshops, classes, films, maps, digital collections, virtual tours, artifacts that we can view online or in person, handbooks, almanacs, diaries, documentaries, interviews, historical sites, magazines, music, and, often in our case as magical practitioners, personal Gnosis. So what is personal Gnosis? Gnosis is the Greek word for knowledge, and it describes knowledge that we gain from personal experience, information that is personal to us. So instead of a logical knowledge that we gain from someone else, like a resource, personal gnosis is found through experience. So that could take the form of something like meditation or personal ritual or art making. So this is what lots of people refer to as a mystical experience. So gnosis are personal experiences that are true for you. Now, is personal gnosis going to fly in academic annotated research? Probably not. But in our case, we are our own mystery school. So let's get into how we would like to organize this experience. How would we like to organize our magical study? And one of the things we consider is time. What's our time frame? How long would we like to pursue this? So is it a week-long study? Is it a month-long study? Is this a year-long study? Is this an indefinite passion project? That's up to you. So is this something that you're going to work on once a week? Is it something you work on once a month? Is it something you work on quarterly? There are also lots of pre-planned programs that are available to you. And even if you don't necessarily end up enrolling in that program, you can take a look at the syllabus or what it is that that course offers to give you an idea of how you'd like to structure your own research. I'm thinking about year-in-a-day programs specifically in this case, if you're unsure about how you would like to structure this research. Challenges can also be a really fun way to give yourself some accountability if you think that's fun and you would enjoy that kind of support. We can also consider format. So how do you want to organize your findings? Is it in a grimoire? Is it in a Word document? Is it on a pin board, a sketchbook, a lined notebook? Is it on a YouTube channel, either public or private? Is it in a scrapbook, a Tumblr, your blog, a collection of voice memos, potentially one or a combination of these containers? So what sort of container would best suit your study as well as your lifestyle and your desires? We can also take a look at note-taking. There are tons of options available for note-taking. So if you struggle with organizing yourself, you might enjoy investigating some different note-taking styles that are available. Just a few might be the Cornell method, mapping, outline method. There are lots and lots of options. So I would encourage you to seek out which format works well for you if you choose to use a written container of some kind. So to conclude, let's talk about a couple of tips. So I really want to reiterate the importance of personal experiences. So particularly if what you're studying is a skill set or it's skill-based. So I realize that having historical or philosophical experiences could be a bit difficult. But what I'm trying to say is you can read everything there is to read on meditation, but if you don't actually sit down and attempt to meditate, our experience is going to be incomplete. If you listen to every podcast ever recorded about herbalism, but you never sit down and make the tea and find out for yourself, your experience is going to feel incomplete. So I think this is where the idea of the armchair occultist comes into play. So experiences are really important. And obviously, be safe about it. I'm not advocating setting up a crucible in your bedroom and burning your house down. But you know that, but I feel like I have to say that. But if at all possible, get your hands dirty. It's going to open doors for you and you will not regret it. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say that you are not helpless. You are not flailing. You are never too old or too young to get started. So teachers in particular can be very helpful, but you have to drive yourself at the end of the day. So put yourself in the position of being the captain of your learning journey. Empower yourself. You are going to get what you put in. So learning is a gift to yourself, and lifelong learning is going to keep your practice and your creativity alive. The moment that we decide that there's no more for us to know about this, there's nothing left for us to discover on our path, we are a total expert, is the moment that we become stagnant and complacent and we stunt our own growth. So don't let the wealth of knowledge that's available discourage and overwhelm you. Get hungry for it. Curiosity is going to be your superpower. I really hope that this little chat about diving into conducting your own magical studies is helpful for you and empowers you on your journey. I'd also like to let you know that if you would like some additional support in that area, particularly in creating your own art magic experiences, I do have a Bandcamp with resources available for you. You can also join me on Patreon for tutorials and talks and art and other goodies. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the down bar. Thank you again so much for being here. And until we speak again, Moon Baby, witch on, witch boldly, and be well. Bye-bye.